Hello, everybody. Today is Saturday, August 27th, 2022. I am the He Hulk, and I am always angry. Rah! Hello, everybody. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all very well today. Today, we are roasting She Hulk Attorney at Law episode 2. Let's start as we mean to go on, folks, and let's just get the guests out. Here they come. First up, set your Jedi Power Wands to Stunning and Brave. We have the wonderful, not Brian. Is a little bit off colour this week. Banner. Hey.
Hello there.
Hello there. You all right, pal?
Yes, I'm okay. How's your? I'm feeling a bit green about the gills, but apart from that, I'm okay. How's your good self, Mr. Brown?
I'm not too bad. Food poisoning.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. So yeah, good. You're good, mate. Yeah.
Yes, I'm okay. I'm ready to go. I'm absolutely pumped.
Yeah, we need to go on with this.
After
Yeah,
this
I
incredibly
know
long
we're just
episode.
buzzing, aren't we, on this one? Hello,
Yes.
Melvin. We're just absolutely hello, Sean. Should we do it?
Why not?
Well, I could give you 1,000 reasons why not, but it wouldn't
Well,
be
true,
very...
but shall we get the next guest out anyway, like the professional you are, Mr. Brown?
Yes. Next, he's the backbone of Sunday nights. It's the mighty Matt Cat 83.
What's up, nerds? Welcome to the She-Hulk Man-Haters Club.
We love women, by the way, before we go any further. You all right, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I managed to get through the episode.
Right on. I feel you. Ain't that sad when you just have to try to get through the episode?
At least it was short, but you know.
Right.
How's the channel going?
Oh, you know, it's a sprint, not a marathon. I'm just doing what I can.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, for sure. I hope I start winning sometime soon. Yeah.
I think both of us need to win something, but anyway, okay.
Yeah.
So, you know what my next question is?
Yeah, let's bring on the next guest. As long as it's not Platoon.
Let's screw that then. Okay, there is good inside our next guest, but we've yet to find it. It is the Dark Sith Lord, Chords. Hello there.
Cutie's here.
Hello, friend. You're right.
I was full of energy and verve and zest, and then I watched She-Hulk episode 2, and
Came on this channel.
I'm wondering what the meaning of life is. But yes, all good.
How's the channel going?
It's going quite nicely. I don't actually know what I'm up to now.
Okay, let's get the next guest out.
Yeah, no, you're killing it, dude. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I got a shout out from the drinker on his live stream. That was quite nice.
Yeah, you are killing it, dude. It's awesome.
Yeah, I went out of my way to clip that for you.
Yeah, thank you, because that was the one stream I missed.
You're welcome.
If you hadn't mentioned that, I would never have spotted it. But yeah, thank you for that.
So everything good in the land of Chord?
Reasonable, yes, thank you.
Good views on the last She-Hulk.
Still going. It's not dipped or anything.
Beauty. Yes,
yeah,
beauty.
It was a good review.
Thank you.
The big boys are noticing you now, aren't they, little boy?
Well, when they have me on, then I'll say yes, they've noticed. Otherwise, no, I'm being unnecessarily pessimistic. No, it was very, very complimentary. I'm very happy.
Very, very complimentary. Shall we get the next victim out?
Oh, I feel sorry for him already, but go on.
Bless him. And he's taking one for the team, everybody. And last but by no means least, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. He is the great mega geek himself, Ian David Diaz.
If I was that wise, why did I listen to you and watch this bloody stupid awful second episode? For God's sakes. Really tricky.
foolish, perhaps. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
Oh, you secretly love it. You're just pretending.
Right.
Should we just get on with it, folks? You well, Ian? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Apart from the suffering, yeah.
Apart from suffering this episode, absolute nonsense.
Okay. Thanks for taking one from the team. Episode 87, Marvel Studios She-Hulk, Episode 2 Roast. I'll say hello to the peeps in the chat. Timmy, you all right, mate? Okay, so this episode was called Superhuman Law, starring Tatiana Maslany, Mark Ruffalo, Tim Roth.
God, he looked really old in this, didn't he, Tim?
He really did?
Yeah.
He's obviously desperate for a new wing of his house, or he'll be getting divorced, probably.
He's a good actor, though. He's a really good actor.
He is.
In the chats, let's start as we mean to go on. Here we go. Did not think that the Mega Geek would be back for this. I didn't watch it, just here to listen to your views.
I didn't want to watch it, but Brown made me. But you know, he couldn't make me. But the thing is, though, Brown is a friend, so he asked me, so I had to watch it. But I'm not going to watch the next episode. That's guaranteed. That way, so.
I think I don't think I'll be definitely covering this again.
You said that last week.
I'll be watching it, but unless if we get 10,000 views, I doubt if we'll be covering this.
You know what's really odd? I used to fancy her when she was in that show, the other show, and now I look at her and I think, oh my God, what did I see? They've made her look so old in this show.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, it's awful. Don't know what they've done to her. She just looks unattractive.
They did put her in an
green
oversized suit when she was at that law firm. I was like, that suit is way too big. I was like, I don't know who's dressing her. But I mean
that hairstyle and everything, and it's just awful.
Yeah, I don't like her hairstyle either. I just wish it was like her She-Hulk hair is way better than her non-She-Hulk hair. I was like, why doesn't she do her hair like that?
I think they're deliberately making her look drab and stuff like that because you can't have a good looking woman on screen anymore for some reason.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, which is so weird to me because I'm sorry, men have to be the ones watching this stuff, this Marvel stuff, more men than women. And I don't understand why they can't, try to. I know they're all like forget the male gaze, but I'm all like, men want to see hot women on screen, so I don't understand why they're doing this. I really don't.
The writers really resent that, though. So that there was an article out in, I think it was earlier today, some people who've been let go from Warner Discovery under Mr. Zaslav.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave unattributed or nameless interviews basically saying they're really concerned that so many diverse people have been let go, and they're worried that the studio is going to be pivoting toward a more middle America and homogenous audience. Now, if you want to read that in plain English, they're really concerned that the studio might actually start writing stuff the audience wants to see as opposed to employing people who hate their own audience. And Disney hasn't got that far yet. Disney still hates its own audience. So until someone equivalent to Zaslav turns up, we are going to keep getting this. As soon as someone like him turns up and they finally realize there's more money to be made by showing tits on the screen, we'll get more tits. But until then, we've got She-Hulk.
Oh, man. Yeah. I want to see more tits on the screen.
But even in
even
in
Ally
McBeal, they dressed her well in Ally McBeal, didn't they?
Oh yeah. All the women on that show were hot.
Yeah.
Even that goofy one with the curly hair.
Is the girl in that's
Callista Flockhart?
Yes, Harrison Ford
wife,
Solo Lost Money is Mrs.
And she still looks hot. She still looks good.
It's just to say, it looks like they went out the way to make her deliberately look drab.
Which I still go, why? I don't understand. Doesn't Tatiana Maslany want to look the best she possibly can?
No, because she's obviously within these people.
What did you say last week?
Well, then again, she's doing it for money.
Hairstyle like Lily Tomlin, was it?
It is. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Lily Tomlin.
In the chat, when I saw Chrissy Mayer, the great Chrissy Mayer, on Friday Night Tights Green Up, I thought that Mr. Brown would become engorged. No, because I didn't see it.
She is great, though. I love Chrissy Mayer.
Yeah, she's a funny girl. Yeah, very funny. Okay. A quick sentence off each of you with this episode. We'll just pile through this tonight. So, who suffered the most this week? Ian, would you like to go first? Episode 2.
This episode doesn't deserve a sentence. It deserves one word: rubbish.
Matt Katz.
I don't know. It was a waste of time, basically.
Anything more to add?
I mean, not really. I mean, like, there's only one scene in this episode that I actually liked, and the rest I was all like, all right, well, we can skip this. I don't know.
In the chats, Melvin Deeply, the makers of The Boys are trying to choke us to death with penises. or is it peni? No, that's one. I'm calling the Me Too hotline. Headshot, low headshot, collective suffering.
I don't want to upset the Lord here, but I've got to ask him a question. Do you think there's too much gay representation on TV now?
In a way, yeah. I think it's the type of representation that matters more than the amount. It's the same thing as, like, you know, we were talking last week about how She-Hulk, well, I certainly did in my review, how She-Hulk actually, it's sort of more offensive to the people it claims to represent, because if this is sort of their icon of what femaleness is, well, I know most women who would probably look at that and think, no, there's a bit more to being a woman than that. It's the same thing with gay representation, that they're really cramming down on it, so it has to be in every story, but the people they're actually putting on the screen and the characters they're using are the most shallow, superficial, sometimes really offensive sort of caricatures of it. And so I would rather have fewer gay characters but better than more that are shit. And I think
I know exactly what you mean, because I remember I was on some live stream, we were talking about Soap and Billy Crystal.
Great program.
Who played a gay guy, and he didn't play it, very, very, how should I put it?
Camp.
Very camp. Yeah, he didn't do it very camp. He just played it straight, but he was a gay guy, and I'm not seeing many of them being represented on screen.
No, it's because most of the writers' only experience of gay people is going to pride parades and pride parades are exclusively inhabited these days by the most camp and superficial of all. There is that massive problem amongst gays generally. Like, most gays are fucking irritating, to be honest. Speaking as a part-time one, I'm allowed to say it, but like, it's all entirely about like what your own writing experience is and the people you know in real life. And if you don't know anyone who isn't just camp and superficial, you're not going to write them like that. But there are some really, really good gay stories with gay characters who are proper characters and deep and well structured and well put on the screen or well put on the page, but we're just not getting that, and that's the really irritating thing.
In the chats, Andy Mouse, hello Andy, we are the fucking best. We watched Piss Hulk for you. Cheers, Andy. You can come here anytime, mate. Lord, your thoughts on this episode?
Is this the thing where I use 100 words for every one that Ian uses?
Shorter than 10 minutes. It will be shorter than 10 minutes.
Shorter than 10 minutes. Oh God, that's a challenge. It wasn't as offensive in the same way as the last episode was. This one was mostly offensive just because it does absolutely nothing. There's one scene that really does shit on the Avengers and that really plays up to the sort of the worst kind of thing that the last episode did in shitting on male characters. The rest of it, though, was like, I mean, I did this because loads of people in my comment section are saying, please do episode 2. And I was like, well, I'll have a look. So I've scripted a review, but it's really, really difficult to actually find anything really to say about it apart from in those one or two scenes, because it just doesn't do anything. It's pointless. It doesn't need to exist.
Well, maybe that's the point of the review then. Just crash it out.
Yeah, that has come through, yeah. It's going to be a much shorter review than the last one. It might even come in at under half an hour, which is unheard of.
The mighty Clarence Beak in the
Clarence Speaks
taking time off from being a gorilla. Lord's use of choice adjectives makes my bollocks. That's why we invite him on every week, boys and girls.
So, another question I need to ask is, when she goes to that office when she's been offered that job, and he says, "I want you as the Hulk, a lawyer," and she changes. So did she just wear spandex all the time now? Do you know what I mean? She didn't know she was going to be asked to be the Hulk, did she?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, she wore that oversized suit to the office, and then she changes into the She-Hulk, and I'm all like, "What's going on here?" I was like, "You should have showed up as the She-Hulk then, because now your suit fits perfect." It was just ridiculous.
Maybe nobody noticed.
If it wanted to be like a really cutting modern satire, she'd have had to go to a bathroom to change, but there would have been a man in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a review that said that it was more insulting that he made her change in front of him. I was like, oh, I guess. I don't know.
In the chat, Time Prophet at Mr. Brown, that's me, is going on about some Photoshop techniques. The photograph was really shitty, mate, so I just did the best I could. And
actually, I think that might just be the CGI, not the photograph.
It's a CGI.
Yeah, and in your defense,
for your concern, Time Prophet.
Yeah, and in your defense, during my review,
but I could be asked
of this for the thumbnail, it was really hard to get a picture. Like, a lot of stuff was filmed in that bar, and it was very poorly lit.
Speaking of somebody who has actually made the effort this evening, not Brian Banner, your thoughts?
I don't have much to say about this episode, to be quite honest. It was so brief and not an awful lot happened. But I was just thinking, I've been a fan of American comedies since I was a wee nipper. And there's been so many zany, fun shows over the years. I mean, just thinking back, there was, as Ian mentioned earlier, Soap, Happy Days, Benson, Different Strokes, Mork and Mindy that I loved, Cheers. And I think probably Married with Children was my favourite. Now, I really think that She-Hulk was a great opportunity to follow in their footsteps and do something special, zany.
Well said, mate.
And a lot of fun. But instead, we've got this insipid, insulting, bland TV show with fewer laughs than your average History Channel documentaries. And I really think it's really, really sad.
It is very sad.
And this week's show, as I said before, it really wasn't any better, and I think its only saving grace was its astonishing brevity at 22 minutes minus the recap, the titles, and the end credits.
The end credits goes on forever, doesn't it? Bloody hell.
It does, but I mean, there's other shows that even with that short runtime managed to do, it's typical sitcom, managed to have a nice little bit put together, and it's all wrapped up nicely, and the character starts off at one end, finishes at the other. Nothing really has changed. You think everything's going to change, it's going to be different, and then it goes back to where he was because it is the situation. I think it's Paul Chato mentioned. This doesn't do that. It's trying to tell a story to a degree. It almost if it doesn't know whether or not it's supposed to be a sitcom or it's supposed to be a continuation of the Marvel. It's nowhere in between.
Clarence Beeks is hit the nail on the head. This is what it's missing. It's missing a laughter track.
But it's sort of doubly important for this because it's so hard to tell when it's even trying to be funny.
That's so true.
I mean, it's so unfunny that there are bits in this episode where there's a punchline for a setup that just doesn't exist. And it's like, have I missed it? Is it really that hard to tell when the show is trying to make you laugh? Because that's not a good sign for a comedy. A laugh track would actually unironically improve it, I think. And laugh tracks usually ruin most things.
Didn't she not do a pratfall in this as well? In the beginning, when she's in the pub and she changes back into herself and she falls off the chair. Yeah, and you're like, what the hell's that all about? Why did she fall off the chair?
It's because different metabolisms, because she's been drinking 2 drinks of She-Hulk, so of course she's fine. She changes back to normal person, and then 2 drinks of floored her, because that's how metabolism works, don't you know?
Exactly. And I didn't even get that explanation. I just thought, how stupid is this?
Okay, shall we pile through these wonderful slides?
You changed him.
Your writing there is just as small as the writing in the credits at the ending. The writing in the credits at the end, that's tiny, isn't it?
This is even harder to see than the usual one is.
It is.
Listen, if you can read that, guys, you definitely do not need to go to Specsavers. You're welcome.
Okay, spoilers.
Hugs
in space.
Yes, there will be spoilers.
Hulks in space. I'm really looking forward to that.
Hulks in space
with Miss Piggy. Dear, oh dear.
Mavel. She is. So it's kind of like a news bulletin recap of what went on.
Yeah, and they don't have male newscasters anymore. They're all female. So there you go.
Well,
the court.
Is he trans then?
He's probably. he's a day dem.
I was going to say the courtroom artist must have been very calm and relaxed to be able to get those.
Exactly.
It was flying across the room.
Very good. Okay. So they're all wanting to know, they're all excited about this new superhero that's just showed up on the scene.
Get the guy in the middle between the two.
So
this is the moment.
No,
that's a good. That's a good picture.
No, seriously.
This is actually the moment they coined the term She-Hulk in universe. This reporter comes up with it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, being a journalist in real life, I actually know journalists who would really have been happy to come up with that. And it made me realize that I hate my profession.
In the chat, Tim's talk. Hello, Timmy. I thought the episode was all right. The stuff with Abomination was interesting. My major issue was actually the pacing.
Yep, especially the first 5-10 minutes. Awful.
Yeah, they could have lost 5-10 minutes off that. The episode was really 22 minutes long.
No, it was less, wasn't it? The credits are really long at the end.
Yeah, it was 30. Then it all kind of went down to about 22.
Yeah. So how long is it? So if it's 27 minutes long, the episode. So
I counted out. It is about 22 minutes all in.
No,
it starts off at 20, maybe 28 minutes, and then you take off everything and it's stripped down to 22 minutes of the actual episode.
Okay, so the actual episode is 27 minutes and 49 seconds, right?
Yep.
And the credits is at least 2 minutes at the end. It's crazy, right? The beginning scene, previous. You got the previous that's adding on to the time as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really tiny episode. This is.
It is, and there's a couple of scenes in it that do actually, like, if you'd given them more time, the scenes themselves might have worked. Like the conversation with her dad being one of them, and there's another one which has slipped my mind for the moment. There's a couple of things in it where you think, well, if we'd had a little bit more time with this scene, then it wouldn't have been as bad as it was. But, I mean, as Tim says, it needs time to breathe. I agree with him. I think that the Abomination stuff at least means that there's a plot in this episode that's hinting toward a story going forward, whereas the last episode had nothing of that. So, like, that makes this episode better, but it's still, I mean, if you're saying it's clearing a bar, the bar is basically subterranean at this point.
Yeah.
In the chat, Bigot, Marvel need to bring in some new directors. Don't think Roman Polanski and Woody Allen are doing anything at the moment. Then there's a follow-up somewhere. Time Profit. Here we go. This is where the channel goes down, folks. Jeffrey Ura ain't doing much either.
I think he's dead.
Yeah, might be hard to get him.
Worse than that is dead. Time Profit. Okay, so
plus you really don't want a director who's on a Clinton blacklist. So moving on.
Stream Killer.
Oh look, it's named Legal Ease. How clever!
Oh, that's so wonderfully, deliciously funny.
Why does her best friend always wear shoulder pads?
Yeah, I don't get her whole wardrobe forever. She was always wearing
she hasn't got any shoulders.
She's always wearing big ass necklaces and this bright. Like she's like, "Hey, follow me to the altar," and I'm all like, "What? What's going on here?"
She's a powerful woman, and powerful women have big shoulders, or shoulder pads anyway.
Dallas. Lots of close-up face gurning shots.
Oh, God, what have they done to her? Seriously.
So she's going into this bar.
Did anyone else think the CGI in this entrance was especially bad?
Yes.
Terrible.
I mean, it was acceptable. I mean, it wasn't. I mean,
dark.
it wasn't that terrible. It was just acceptable. I mean, it could be so much better. But it's a TV. I'm assuming it's a TV budget, but it doesn't look like it.
There's an interesting interview. I was doing some digging around the interviews with Jessica Gao, who created and wrote this. And everyone picked up on that one where that she said, well, we don't know how to write court scenes. Well, there's another interview where she says, we didn't know how to write with CGI and we didn't know how the props work. So it's like, so wait a minute, you're writing a CGI heavy legal comedy drama and you don't know how to do comedy, legal drama or CGI. Why exactly have they hired you?
All right,
so
the most scary thing about that is that the people that are in charge, aren't they not listening to those interviews?
Feige, isn't it?
It's like if somebody said, if I'd hired someone and someone said that, the next thing I'm going to do is not hire them for season 2. Do you know what I mean? If there is a season 2, why would you? They don't know what they're doing.
The other interesting thing about that interview, I mean, I know you mentioned Feige just then, Mr. Brown, that she mentions Feige in this interview, and she said, well, I went to him and I said, look, we want to do a lot of CGI, but we need you to tell us, how much money have we got? How much can we spend on this? How big can we go? And he told her, if we're going to do a show about She-Hulk, we want to see She-Hulk. So sort of implicitly giving this blank check. But then when they were creating it, it wasn't Feige, but some other random junior who came along and said, we're going to need you to cut all of these She-Hulk scenes because you don't have the money to spend on it. So Kevin Feige's gone from this mastermind who strings the entire MCU together to giving completely the wrong impression to people writing shows for his MCU because apparently he just doesn't give a fuck. And I don't know if that means that it was always a myth that he was the creative mastermind in the first place, or whether he's lost interest or he's got too much else on. But this massive transition from everything in the MCU having a point to it, and everything, even the really disparate entries, having this thing around which they come back. Well, in this case, though, he's being deliberately and specifically asked, how much CGI can we use? How much money can we spend? What do you want us to do? And he just doesn't answer the question, and so they get the wrong impression and have to cut all the scenes down afterwards. Like, the entire thing sounds like a complete catastrophe.
Well, you can see it in the episode.
It's there on the screen, mate. So it is. So she's going into this bar where they're all wanting She-Hulk, She-Hulk, She-Hulk. So she obliges, doesn't she? Because she's famous. That's Derek, isn't it?
The man that was right all along. The man that was right all along. He should have done the closing speech. Anyway.
Lord, do you want to read this one, please?
Ms. Gao was not hired on skill or qualifications, but purely for diversity brownie points.
No relation.
That is true.
Yes, so it seems so.
Mm.
And this scene, it's almost kind of written as a sketch show. Like, he's a sketch show character. He's just there as this sort of device that she can bounce off. Like, he's so one-dimensional, it's unreal. And it's really annoying. It's just every time he pops up, you know exactly what he's going to say. He'll put it down. He'll do the traditional, stereotypical, male, patriarchal bullshit line. And I think in this one, he accuses her of doing it for publicity or something.
Yeah, and I love how he's like, nepotism. I'm like, what? What's going on here? And then I don't know if you guys mentioned it because I stepped out for a hot minute, but I love how he's all like, there's a hot chick over there. I'm going to go talk to it. And I'm all like, what? Guys, I'm like, this is clearly written by a woman because, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's men out there that are like this, but I've never sat there and be like, hey, there's a hot chick. I'm going to go talk to it. I'm like, no, I'm going to go talk to that bitch and everything.
No,
I
go, there's a hot they, them. I'm going to go talk to them.
Well, it takes your fancy, Brown.
I actually genuinely thought that was the funniest line in the entire show, but not because it was deliberately funny. It was just because, like, it was putting yourself in that position. And actually, I would have to know someone who was going out of their way to be edgy as fuck to get away with saying something like that. But he's not doing that. So it was funny, but not for the reasons that I think they thought it would be.
What's his name? So they just fired her because she saved everybody in the courtroom. It doesn't make any sense.
And lost the case.
Well, this is actually comic books accurate. She does get fired in the comic books because they can't Well, she doesn't get fired because she turns into the Hulk. She gets fired because she's too much of a party girl, and she does some inappropriate things in the office and stuff like that. But she does get fired in the comic books. So.
Hold on.
That would be a really good reason.
Yeah. So basically, she gets drunk a lot, and you know what I mean. That sounds like a woman I'd really like to know. You know?
Yeah, and that's why it really bums me out that they didn't follow the comic books
because we can't have heroes doing that. It's bollocks, basically.
Yeah,
we used to have heroes smoking at one point, didn't we?
Just quickly going back on Derek's, I'm going to go talk to it. Tim's talk. Hello, Tim. Tim's a real man. He would say this: "I'm going to talk to that honey." There you go. Moving on.
I think I've actually been called honey once, and I wanted to twat the person who said it. So, no offense.
Were you happen to be wearing that dress of yours?
I'm not sure if I was on this occasion.
Okay, so she's lost. He wants to talk to Jennifer in normal form because she's Hulk at the moment. This is where she.
Actually makes me wonder how they do these effects. I mean, do they have, because the hair looks quite real actually, so do they have somebody, just wearing the wig and then they just put her face on someone else? I don't know how they do this.
Yeah, I could have swore I read somewhere that they do have a stand-in.
Right.
But I mean, in all honesty, I'd have to go back and look to actually remember, but I could have swore I saw somewhere that they have a stand-in.
Yeah. The effects isn't. I mean, the effects isn't that bad. To tell you the truth, it's okay, but it's not great.
Well, it doesn't help that in this bar. I mean, like they probably did like they did in Wonder Woman 1984, where they did Cheetah, and they filmed it at nighttime, so that way they could do the crappiest visual effects possible, and they didn't have to touch it up too much. And this bar is so poorly lit; it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess
this point that Tim's just made, I was about to bring up. Because I think we mentioned it on the stream. We joked on the last stream that maybe that there might be grounds for a mistrial there. And so the actual reason given for her being fired is that the prosecutor, I think it was, or the person on the other side to her anyway, successfully appealed for a mistrial. And you'd think, well, okay, a wine aunt has just exploded through the wall and one of the attorneys has punched her. So that's probably grounds for a mistrial. But the actual grounds they find for a mistrial is that because she saved the jury are now biased in her favor. And it's like, of all the reasons you could go for a mistrial, you've just had someone explode through the wall of the court.
Stupid.
For example. That seems like an unnecessarily complicated way of going about it.
Right.
So there's this shot where... Sorry, go ahead. Brian, go ahead.
Also sets up the not that I'm defending the writing, but that also sets up the reason why no one else will hire her. They use that later. It's still flimsy, but that's...
want the publicity or something, isn't it?
So there's this shot right after the opening credits where she's lying on the bed, and what the fuck is she wearing? Seriously, they can't make this woman look attractive. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Then when she's sitting on the sofa with her best friend, what the hell is she wearing? I just give up on this. Absolutely nonsense. The only good bit in this film was when she was being interviewed. And the background kept changing, and that she was staying in one place. I don't know if you noticed that. Was all right. It was nice.
Because also they portrayed her getting slowly, slightly more miserable and put down, and she looked a bit more shambolic and disheveled each time they did it as well. So I thought that was quite a nice touch. It's just that's like the only nice touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's just found out while pissed up she's lost her job, and she's unemployed.
We've all been there, right?
Yes. Double credit title. Can you believe it? Beautiful.
Oh, God.
I think you may have missed the fact that it changed. Does it not change at some point from attorney at law to attorney for hire or something? Or?
Attorney at law, attorney for hire.
Look at that.
I mean, I understand the comic was very
went.
amusing and stuff like that, but they could have at least balanced it out with Daredevil seriousness and comedy.
Well, yeah, because I was going to mention before, she gets fired in the comic book because she just keeps doing inappropriate things in the office. Like, for instance, the last straw is she Xerox pictures of her butt on the printer, and she's like, how do you know it's me? And the guy's all like, because it's a colored printer and the butt is green. And she's like, and everything.
Brilliant.
So I'm all, yeah, so like that's funny. And I'm like, you couldn't incorporate that stuff. I mean, maybe they'll do it in a future episode. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but
because women can't be that stupid. That's why they didn't.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and in the comic book, she gets drunk a lot more and stuff. I mean, she's getting drunk here, but it's a lot funnier. And I don't understand why they couldn't incorporate certain things from the comic books to make this show a lot better. I don't understand it.
Because that would mean the writers would have to actually read a fucking comic.
Which I don't. They should want to. Comics are great. They're like the best.
Yeah, but that's worth doing as well, because that's actually a real, that's a personable thing. Like, you can relate to that. That's a real person's experience. Like, I know friends, I actually managed to get one of my friends fired from her job because I convinced her to stay out partying instead of going to work the next day. So, like, that's a real thing people actually experience. And that immediately humanizes the character and makes her more relatable. And the way they did choose to do it, just, why would you could achieve exactly the same effect while also making her seem like an actual character. Why didn't they do that?
Why? What was the point of the dinner scene? Why were we introduced to these characters that were so brief? It was pointless having them there. Could have just had the mother and father and the brother. Is it the brother? And that's it. Why did we lose all the rest of them?
Yeah, no, I think he's the cousin. I think
he's the cousin.
Yeah, because I think his parents are the ones sitting across from him. Because the one guy, the one uncle, makes the comment like he has a job and he got promoted at Best Buy.
Best Buy, yeah.
I love that.
Good luck to him.
But if you want the reason for that, this is just a Bridget Jones's Diary moment. That's all this is.
It's not that good. It's not that
scene
good.
for scene, it's taken from that. It's the same kind of humor. Evidently, they've read it. They thought, we can do that too. The only good thing about the scene is that the dad is the only likable person in the entire show. He's quite a nice guy.
Yeah.
And they set that up quite well. But again, it's one of those things they just don't spend anywhere near enough time on because we have to move away very quickly.
Time Prophet asks at Mr. Brown Alliance asks me, why can't they call it She-Hulk Lawyer?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. Moving on.
Because she's an attorney. It means the same thing, does it?
I guess.
Probably Americanized. Before we move on from this slide, this is what having a troubled, hard life looks like in America.
Wait, did you guys? I don't know if you talked about it because I stepped away. Did you guys talk about her in the bar when she talked about the other Avengers and being a superhero?
Oh my god, we breezed over that.
Would you mind if we go back to that? Because that was I hated that scene and that conversation so much.
That was my least favorite one.
Yeah, I was literally angry watching, and it was only 5 minutes in. I was so mad. I was all like, "This is some bullshit right here." Because she says, "I don't want to." She's because they named her She-Hulk, and then she's like, That's so derivative of the Hulk. And I was like, you mean what the MCU has been doing from now on? Like Captain America is now, Falcon is now a derivative of Captain America. He can't just be the Falcon. And then when she goes on and talks about how superheroes are either billionaires, narcissists, or adult orphans, I'm like, yeah, because people love when their parents are murdered by their friend's best friend. Yeah,
what about Spider-Man?
Yeah, everybody loves it when their parents are dead, you asshole. And billionaires, Tony Stark, yeah, his dad may have been rich, but it's not like he was, a nobody. He was a genius, and he still built up his company and was able to earn his money by being brilliant. He didn't just get a handout and then fed off that handout. And then I was like, and then she talked, now the insurance thing, I was like, well, the Avengers could, get paid a little bit by the government or somebody, because I was like, you're risking your life. But when she brought up maternity leave, I was like, if I was, an asshole, I'd be like, you're being insensitive to Black Widow because she can't even have children and everything. But it made me, the whole time she was talking, I was just getting mad. I was like, this is some bullshit. I was like, this is some bullshit and a half.
This was the bit that really annoyed me probably the most about the episode, is because, I mean, there's the first stuff, which is, of course, the boilerplate billionaire orphans and all the rest of that. That's dismissive stuff. But it's when she moves on to say, like, well, I don't want to be a vigilante hero. Do they get health care? Do they get a pension? Do they get maternity leave? And I was thinking, like this, how self-absorbed and narcissistic do you have to be to miss the point? So like Black Widow is a really good example. Black Widow can't have children, so maternity leave is not a concern. No one who died in episodes 1 to 3 is going to enjoy a pension. The whole point of the Avengers is that this is the sacrifice some people need to make in order for you to enjoy these benefits. Like, this is not something which just comes to you as a natural right. People have actually had to lay down their lives and fight and die for your right to be comfortable. And it's like the scene in the first episode where she's talking to Bruce about how shit he is at controlling his anger compared to her. You can fix it technically because she will have to go, well, in order to fix it, you will have to make her realize that no, actually the only reason you can enjoy those rights is that you've made sacrifices to attain them or someone has done it for you. The problem is I genuinely don't think that the writers understand or believe that, because like their entire political idea, their entire like social status is resting on the idea that these things are just normal commonplace rights that are free if you want them to be, and that no one really has to work hard to attain them. So like you could fix this. You could make her see that no, actually Black Widow, the Hulk, Tony Stark, Captain America all died or in some way died or suffered severe trauma to win you those rights, and then she becomes more appreciative of that later on. I just don't think the writers have it within them to understand that that's what the point was. So again, it just seems incredibly narcissistic and self-centered.
Yeah,
wow.
So she'd be perfect as a superhero.
No, she's a selfish cow. Let's face it.
I think Lord Cord was watching a different episode than me.
Yeah, and I love how she's all like, "I didn't accumulate."
Very good.
I didn't accumulate all this student debt, and I was like, "Well, thankfully for you, our president just alleviated some of that, so yay!"
And also, right, Tony Stark died he brought back half the universe, and he died for all of us. And it's like, well, come on, you know.
Yeah, that really makes me mad.
Be more respectful.
Exactly. I hate how people like write off Tony Stark. They're like, well, he gave weapons of war to people. And I'm like, yeah, but the motherfucker sacrificed himself for the universe. Okay. So sorry he was an asshole for like 2 seconds.
It was so she could have a house like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would statistically have been half empty had he not died. Like, she wouldn't have had that dinner party scene if it hadn't been for Tony Stark and the Hulk sacrifice. So, screw you, darling.
Did anybody think her new boss reminded you of the guy in RoboCop?
Oh my God! Now that you say it, yes.
Dick Jones.
Dick Jones, yeah.
Oh, that's great! I love that now.
Okay, so what's going on here? She's job interviews and
are the worst.
That's the only good bit in it, direction-wise, where she's just sitting in one place and the background changes.
Yeah, I thought it was quite good.
Each thing, yeah. It's the only good bit. The rest of it's all bollocks. Oh, God, this show so sucks. It really does.
Just thinking about the comedy aspect of this, you know,
there isn't any.
It's supposed to be, anyway. US like comedic protagonists tend to be like the smart-arsed, cool, like Peter Venkman, Groucho Marx.
Yeah.
And UK comedic protagonists tend to be the more downtrodden, neurotic types like Basil Fawlty, even Stephen Toast. This one doesn't seem to. This one doesn't seem to pick a lane.
No,
when
it's not in any camp.
I don't know who
Al Bundy could do.
It's on the hard shoulder, mate.
Well, I was thinking Al Bundy's character could do both. He could alternate between the two depending on the circumstance. And I think this either isn't aware of that or just tries to do it but does it very, very badly.
Yeah, so we're supposed to sympathise with her because she's lost her job, and the next scene is this one.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount that house must cost or that apartment must cost.
Yeah.
How are you really, really supposed to relate to your financial position if you being unemployed still live in a house that's unattainable to like 98% of the population?
And they've got all the fucking lights on during the middle of the day. How
Typical woman. I think my first place I lived in was the size of her living room. So I mean,
but then again, she was a lawyer. She probably would have made a lot of money. That's why she could afford that.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, folks, if you put a QR reader up to that QR code thing there,
have you done it?
I'm doing it right now as we speak.
You will get a free She-Hulk comic. You're welcome.
Why? Who wants that?
It's not working.
Man fights with metal claws in a bar brawl. I wonder what that's referring to.
Yeah, everybody was freaking out online because of it.
Why is the giant
question here,
sticking out
Lord,
of
could
the
you
ocean?
possibly answer this one? Question from Melvin Deeply. Let's talk about slavery. Does anybody really think Colonel Sanders invented KFC, or did he beat the recipe out of one of his slaves back in olden days?
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. He did invent Kentucky Fried Chicken. He's Colonel Sanders.
Doesn't matter if he beat it out of a slave or if he invented it himself. He had the business sense to commodify it.
He did.
And it's delicious.
And then it says clam fried fucking chicken with a cat.
Well, he was wearing white, wasn't he? Let's face it. So there you go.
Well done, mate.
Cancelled immediately.
Just like the show, probably.
And the channel and me. Okay, so before we move on, if you do the QR code, apparently you get a free comic. So
yeah, I'm trying to do it right now. I took a screenshot.
It's pretty obvious that QR code is a CGI thing. If you look at it very carefully, the white is completely off.
Here we go, folks.
Completely off to the other white that's on the page itself. So that's definitely been comped in.
Yeah, poorly as well.
Yeah, very poorly.
Okay, so fuck knows what's going on. They're talking about
She's still got shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Look at them. What the hell?
Oh, Here we go. Double standards, folks. Can you see that? Yep. You know, his ass that is, don't you?
Yeah, it's America's ass.
American Chavez ass, is it? No, not really.
I'm surprised it's not the leaked the photo he accidentally posted of his dong. I had to pause this so many times to read this. I was like, really? I was like, I don't even have bad eyesight, and I was like, what's it say? Don't be what? And then, oh crap! Sorry, my kids are breaking down. It's bedtime.
That's all right.
It's all right. We're breaking down as well. So, we were saying off air, if this would have been, say, a male actor, say Derek's phone, and that was a piece of, say, I don't know, female ass, they'd be up in uproar, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Not if it was Brie Larson's, because she doesn't have one anyway, apparently.
Or her toes.
One big toe.
Shot of her feet. Yeah.
Okay.
There is a side-by-side shot of Tom Holland's ass in his Spider-Man suit and Brie Larson's. And I don't think you have to even be like not straight to appreciate which of those is better.
Here you go. Comment of the night from Franco. Colonel Sanders wasn't even a colonel.
You think? He wasn't a colonel.
Okay,
oh God,
so
I hate this.
She's going to visit parents. We'll bash through these. Daddy, mummy, moi.
Do you notice who plays her father in this?
Yeah, who is it? He looks familiar.
This is Mark Baker Lynn, who, if you remember, you know how Marvel's got a kind of habit of using people from the certain genre that their film is kind of based around. If you think of Robert Redford in Captain America, Winter Soldier. Mark Baker Lynn, remember him was in Perfect Strangers with Bronson Pinchot, or Serge from Beverly Hills Cop. Remember that show?
He's Serge in Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh no, he was in a show with Serge from Beverly Hills Cop. Remember, called Perfect Strangers.
Oh yes, I remember it. I don't remember him though, but hey.
Yeah, I remember that show. I love that show. I can't. I have to mute my mic. My daughter is very upset right now.
That's
all right, Matt.
Did she just watch She-Hulk?
Yeah,
probably.
I thought it was.
No, she wasn't interested at all. I turned it on, and she was like, okay, and she went and played with her dolls and stuff.
I thought this was Henry Winkler at first when I saw him, and I thought, is this Henry Winkler? And it wasn't.
You've been watching too much Barry.
Yeah, I know. It looks a bit like him from
there you go, Melvin. Perfect Strangers. I'd forgotten it existed.
I liked it. I watched that back in the day. I can't remember much about it now, but.
Okay, so family dinner.
Aquel.
I love how this guy is like, he's like the dumb guy of the whole dinner, and I'm all like, do all the males in this have to be dummies or assholes? I'm like, except for her dad. Her dad's pretty decent. Like her uncle's even a dick.
No, he's got it down. He's been promoted. What are you talking about? Yeah. So he's got it down, yeah.
Yeah, but at Best Buy, I mean,
Best Buy, come on.
Best Buy's not long for this world.
Oh, is it not?
I don't think so, but we'll see.
Romeo Tango November Zulu is telling me off. Please, Brown, mate, can you do a stream on a good movie?
Yes.
This shit is depressing.
Exactly.
Can I ask RRTNZ to give us a couple? Give us a few of your own personal ones. We'll see what we can do.
He'll probably say something.
I don't know. I have fun shitting all over this show.
Yeah,
you do. You're the only one.
It's entertaining to me.
I'm going to jump to Mr. Brown's defense on this one. So, I'm all in favor of doing good movie streams, and we should do more of those. Absolutely. Yeah. But I am having much more fun shitting on this with you guys than I was having actually watching the thing.
Tron.
There is,
right.
The exception of Tron. There is something to be said for actually trying to find the light, the comedic side, I think, in bad media. And we have so much bad media. You can either ignore it completely, or you can try and make light of it where you can. And I enjoy these streams just because we are able to actually make light of it. I know not everyone is the same, and we should definitely also try and equalize focus on good stuff as well. But if you are going to be bombarded with crap, you probably should try and find the best way of looking at that.
I think maybe one of the points he's thinking about RTNZ is the fact that we used to do it was the films we would do on a Saturday as opposed to this kind of thing.
We will
tend to do this kind of thing midweek.
We will reinstate the films once summer is over. I think there's only maybe a week or so left. So
there is also the channel consideration as well. I know it doesn't necessarily resonate with everyone, but if you are trying to do anything on YouTube, you do have to make some compromises with what you're given and what the algorithm is pushing. So it's possible to balance them, which is great. But usually when people if people come to me and say, "Why are you just negative about everything?" Well, it's like, I do have to cover this stuff because, I do want the channel to grow, and this is a way of doing that. This is what's in the algorithm at the moment. So we can balance that. But what gives you the ability to actually spend time talking about good movies is that you do the hard work in talking about the bad ones as well. And it's not our fault if everything that comes out is shit. It's just, as I say, you have to make as light of it as you possibly can. So definitely up for those stats.
Well, if that was the case, how comes Brown isn't hitting 2,000, 3,000 views on this? Because when you do it, you get X amount of views, and Brown only gets 15 people or some nonsense like that, or 63 people. It makes no sense. What you're saying makes no sense.
13, 13, not 15.
Okay.
There's 25 in at the moment.
Yeah, there's 25.
There you go.
You're doing great.
25. Yeah.
I think there's a big fundamental difference between doing live streams and doing proper,
plus
scripted content.
Yeah, plus I think that.
Behind it.
Yeah, plus I think live streams, if you don't catch them, then I don't think most people watch the replay. Like, I'll watch replays of live streams that I actually people that I like, but if I miss the live stream on a channel that I don't really like, I'm not huge about, then I won't go back and watch the replay.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then Brown you should Brown as a what you call it?
Mr. That's Mr. Brown.
Maybe you should do an experiment. Why don't you do something that Lord Chords doing and have a recorded version of it and see if that gets you any traction?
Yeah, honestly, my live streams were getting maybe 50 views at the same time as my videos were getting 25,000. So live streams are harder to get into, but you do get it's good for the algorithm when you do this stuff. As Time Prophet I think has said, you get a really good quality audience which is consistent. They keep coming back because they like what you do, and we sort of benefit from the same thing. We did live streams, not as many people view them, but they're still useful. But it's harder to break through with live streams, I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
Andy Mouse, do Nobody. Yes, I would love to do Nobody.
Oh yeah, I love Nobody.
That is on the list. Time Prophet at Mr. Brown Alliance. That's me. This is beneath the talents of the Magic Geek.
I agree with that. Yes.
Oh dear.
Now that we've finished talking about things we should have been talking about in the green room rather on the live stream, let's get back to She-Hulk.
Well, there's nothing else to talk about with She-Hulk. We have to pad it out somehow.
Should we just bash through these?
Well, real quick, I just want to say about this dinner thing. Okay, first off, who eats like that? Second off, which is ridiculous. Her uncle here offers his girlfriend, whatever she is, to style her, and I'm all like, this bitch doesn't know how to dress herself. What did she use? A bedazzle on that jean jacket? Her mother mother, like a bad parent, gives her phone number to a complete stranger. I'm all like, you're right. She's going to get murdered one of these days because you're handing out her phone number to assholes down the street. Yeah, I'm like, this is ridiculous.
But this is meant to be funny.
It's not funny.
Oh, it's really funny how mother has handed over her phone number to this complete stranger. We're meant to be laughing here.
The writers will find it funny. Marlin the Unlucky. Hello, Marlin. At Mr. Brown, that's me. I love hearing you guys shit on this.
That's actually my brother. That's my twin brother.
The most like useful line if you're scripting your review on this, you do have to keep saying, "And this is meant to be funny," just as Ian has pointed out. You wouldn't guess otherwise.
And who's this other woman? She just sat there smiling, just all like, "Hey, I'm here."
Is she the mother?
No, the one next to
the red shirt guy. I was like, is this an aunt? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't fuck her.
She looks a bit old for that, but maybe.
Well, when you get to a certain age,
they're never too old.
Mr. Brown Lions asks me, don't sell out and copy other YouTube creators. Be yourself. Yeah, Lord copied my style.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, if I was you, I'd sue, mate.
You know, also is
I'll get her to be my attorney.
You know, they also do this thing where it's like this family dinner is just like the worst thing ever for her because everybody's crapping all over. I love family dinners. I love hanging out with my family. I don't understand why they couldn't have showed like she goes there, she has a good time with her family. It's all fun. And
do you know what this scene is copying? The scene in Back to the Future when we find Marty's McFly's family a dumbass. Yeah,
that's a good
what he's copying. And it's not even funny, this.
Nice spot.
It's not funny.
I didn't spot that. That's a good spot.
Nice. That's why
it reminded me of something.
Channel.
I couldn't
put my finger
on it.
Yep, no, good job.
Good job, Ian.
Oh, and another thing. Her dad's all like, where does Hawkeye get those arrows?
Yeah, I know.
And I'm all like,
I'm like,
he makes them. Now, I liked this scene. This was my favorite scene of the entire episode.
You had a favorite scene?
Yeah, this is my favorite scene because I thought it was nice to, you know, her dad pulls her aside and he's like, I didn't need you to help me with anything. I just wanted to, you know, catch up and see if you were doing okay. And I was like, you know, this is actually a heartfelt moment. You know, my daughter just started school. She's 6 and everything.
Oh, nice.
So during the week, I don't get to see her except for a half an hour in the morning when I'm getting her ready for school. And then 10 minutes when she gets off the bus and I have to go to work. And so during the weekends, I like to do stuff like this where I'm like, hey, how was your week? Talk to me about it and everything.
How old is she?
She's 6. She started first grade. So
right.
It's so I did enjoy the scene as a dad and as a parent and everything, that it was nice to see, you know, these heartfelt moments.
Correct, you are correct.
But I was surprised. Sorry, Matt.
No, I was just gonna say it was ruined by the rest of the episode.
I was surprised they had a scene like this, but it's been so empowering women, but they've actually got her sitting there and telling her dad her worries.
Yeah, but he's very soft, isn't he? Brian, he's very soft, isn't he? He's like a feminine father. You know what I mean? It should be that he comes across like a mother rather than the father. No, there's no strength in his words, if you know what I mean.
I guess so, but then there's that sort of the Uncle Ben to Spider-Man style dynamic that goes on.
Yeah, but if you notice, if you notice, Uncle Ben was everything that he said. It was very manly. You remember he was talking about he's trying to look for a job in the first Spider-Man movie, and he was going, "Oh, computers need analysts," and you know there was that joke. But you can tell he was a very manly kind of person. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But this guy came across as a very soft. Like you could have put the mother in that situation, and it wouldn't have made any difference whatsoever, in my opinion.
Now I think about it, he kind of had him acting almost more like a kindly grandfather rather than a parent.
Yeah. Wasn't a father figure kind of thing, you know.
On last week's Friday Night Tights, when they were shitting on this, again, the great Chrissy Mayer said, obviously, the cunty woman thing. And they all said cunty women, mid-30s, who have father issues. Spot on.
Yeah, and this one, I don't know, the way I watched it, she didn't seem to be having any father issues. She wasn't telling him to get stuffed. She was genuinely confiding in him, which I thought was better.
Yeah, it was. No, it was actually shit. There's no footage of this show whatsoever.
Time Prophet at Mr. Brown Alliance asked me, I have never seen a Lost Chord stream. What?
You should.
Well, there haven't been many Lost Chord streams. There have been a few Little Platoon streams on my channel, although I haven't done an actual stream for like 6 months, but most of it's just videos.
Some advice to you, Time Prophet, if you are going to listen to the Little Platoon's stream, make sure you have a pillow on you. Make sure you have a day off as well, because they're very long. I'm only joking.
No. I play up to that. That's good fun.
I will just say on a serious point, folks. When we do the films, it literally takes me 3/4 of a day to put the stream together. I've been busy the last 3 weeks doing gardening, and one of the reasons why we're doing this is because I could pretty much throw it together quite quickly. If anything, I know you guys, we like turning up here, talking shit for a while. I know you guys do. Apologies, it's not a film, but we will get back on the films very, very soon. Normal service will be resumed after.
Can I just very quickly? This is partly a plug because Time Prophet has a new video out, but he says it will be 40 minutes long, and I won't be that one. My She-Hulk one is 49 minutes long. That's a short one.
2 episodes.
Me. So
yeah.
Right then, guys, let's move on.
Move along. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Apart from more gurning and
yeah.
So she's back at the bar, penniless now.
Yeah, baller on a budget.
Yeah, she's on a budget.
She's not penniless. She's already got money from.
I know that's the thing. Yeah, my brother-in-law's a lawyer. They're not. If he lost his job, they would be fine for a little while.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the
there
boss
comes.
Of the
Dick Jones.
Yeah,
now that you've said it, I can't unsee it.
It looked a bit like Alan Pardew, the ex-football manager.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right on. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Question here, Romeo at Mr. Brown Alliance me. So, as requested, why not stream on Wrath of Khan? We've already done it.
Yeah, we did Wrath of Khan. We did. I think we did ET. Did we not?
We've not done ET yet. Have we done the Winter Soldier?
No.
We should.
Good film.
It's a fucking great film.
Superman. I think we did Superman, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think we did Superman the movie. Yeah, we did.
We've not done the film. We did a little bit of a Richard Donner tribute.
Of course, of course. You got a better memory than me, Bruin.
E.T. I think it should be a must for this year, it being the 40th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ian, do you know anybody who's going to see E.T. soon?
Me! I'm going to see it.
I love E.T.
Is that next week?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait.
IMAX. Okay. So this bloke's turned up to offer her a job at his law company. Buy her a drink. So obviously the good stuff's coming out.
Ooh,
what was that funny look between the bartender and that man? I
can't remember.
He put a roofie in it.
Didn't work on She-Hulk.
Where was this bar? Okay, so she's going to be offered a job, but he wants her to be She-Hulk because it's a superhero law firm or something. I don't know.
No, he has a section that deals with superheroes stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I guess so.
And then she thinks for about 2 nanoseconds. Yes.
Oh yeah, she's so desperate, like it's like ridiculous.
Yeah. And then a look at the barman, is it bar person?
Yeah. She knows him because that's the bar she drinks in it. So,
yeah.
So. Oh, God, trying to fill some time with a shot of the city.
Okay, so somewhere in London.
Is that London?
No.
I was going to say.
Not London.
I think it's Los Angeles.
It might be Vancouver. Who knows?
This is where she struggles to walk through a door, which is apparently very funny.
Oh, I know, right?
I'm so glad I was wearing my corset at that time, because I would have split my sides laughing.
Yeah, right. So ridiculous.
So ridiculously stupid. This film.
So stupid.
Sorry, series.
It could be done if it was done as slapstick. She's maybe talking with someone else as she's walking in and turns around and hits. That could be funny, depending on how it's filmed. But
would have been funny if she just walked through the plate glass and it all smashed.
Well, they've done that in
It would
Veep,
have been Hulk smash, wouldn't it?
Veep is a very funny show at its best. They actually had a moment where Selina Meyer, the vice president, does walk through plate glass. That is an example of a female-led comedy that is actually funny.
Right.
Unlike this. Moving on. So she opens the door.
She should get a raise already.
Yeah.
Dick Jones explains to her that he needs someone to tackle the, was it superheroine thingy division, whatever it is.
Here you go, Andy Mouse. Veep is very funny.
It is. Apparently, this is the first law firm that's decided or thought it would be a good idea to set up a superhero-specific department. But, I mean, if you follow Captain Marvel continuity timeline, like, this has been more than 20 years of superheroes fucking things up on a fairly massive scale. You'd think another law firm would have cottoned onto this before now, but apparently this is the first one.
Yeah, there's also a division, isn't it? Because they stopped the Vulture from taking the alien stuff, didn't they? There was I can't remember what the division is called that stops ordinary people from meddling in superheroes or supervillain stuff.
Yeah.
So that exists as well.
There's a few across Marvel and DC of like the equivalent of the Department for Superhero Affairs type stuff. So it's been done quite a lot. It's just apparently in this universe, this is the first law firm that's decided it would be worth doing.
You'd think there'd be loads, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
every single lawyers are fucking parasites. You'd think they'd be all over the place.
Yeah, it's called damage control.
Okay, so this is the moment where he says, sorry, Matt, this is the moment where he says, if you want this job, you've got to be She-Hulk all the time.
You've got to change into She-Hulk. Oh, did you bring any extra clothes with you? No, I didn't. Okay, fine, just change. And the clothes fit her. Excellent.
Yeah. So glad you wore that man's suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Time Prophet's busy tonight. Time Prophet at Mr. Brown Line says me, does it explain why her bra doesn't pop off when she turns green?
Maybe it has, and she just kept it in there. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe it's a sports bra or a Hulk bra or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. And everybody's looking at her because she's green.
So, cue comedic Trey moment.
Right. Yeah. And they all act like they've never seen a superhero before, like on TV or anything like
blasé.
That. And I'm sorry, like at this point in time, after the whole blip happened, okay, after that happened, everybody's still surprised by a green tall lady. Like you saw people disappear right in front of you and then reappear magically, deliciously, and now you're surprised like some 7-foot woman is green. Like I don't get it. Like
yeah, well, in its defense, I mean, you know, you see, I don't know, Morgan Freeman all the time on TV, but if he walked into the room, you will be staring because it's Morgan. Freeman.
That's an excellent point. Stop making sense.
Melvin says, why would she go to work for a firm that's only hired her for Hulkness? She could make millions on Twitter as an influencer.
Exactly.
And appearance money at all Comic-Cons.
But she wants to be a lawyer. That's what it is.
Yes, Melvin. She wants to be a lawyer.
You've had a few of these things now where like, so in the established Marvel continuity, no one is poor unless the writers of the show decide that them being poor is useful. But until Phase 4, you've never really had this as a major plot point. So, of course, Peter Parker has a difficult-ish upbringing. But it's sort of tacitly understood that by virtue of being an Avenger, you have certain needs taken care of, usually by Tony Stark. It's Phase 4 when they really start to try and inject various messages into it. So you have the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when it turns out that his,
you have to do better.
His sister is living in poverty, for example. So, well, you could have solved this problem at any point until this moment, and you haven't done that. And now here, you have the exact same sort of, well, it's poverty porn, really. It's just, we need to have some kind of social strife, so let's make a point here. And it doesn't make sense, but we're going to do it anyway.
How ludicrous was it in Winter Soldier when Falcon went to the bank trying to get money? He could have easily went on Instagram or do a couple of shows to make some money. Yeah, he went to the bank. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous.
He could have done a GoFundMe and made more money.
Exactly. It was ridiculous. The whole thing was... Anyway,
the MCU has been sort of undercut by the existence of the boys, because the existence of the boys sort of shows how these things would actually work in reality, whereas the Avengers has kind of escaped having to consider these things.
Bishop Moore, she'd make loads of money on OnlyFans, mainly from Mr. Brown. That's me.
Yeah, I'd subscribe. I'd subscribe.
Yes, I would subscribe to that one. I would.
She wants to be a lawyer. So there you go.
Okay, so this is where she's doing fourth wall.
Yeah, no, it's pathetic, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. This is the first and only fourth wall scene in the episode, and so I'd forgotten that's what they were doing.
It's really odd as well. It was really odd.
Yeah, the lady that created it said she wanted to do more, but they told her to pull back. And I'm like, no, you need to do more because it happens so much in the comic
patriarchy
book.
there. So
either you do it or you don't do it. You don't half-ass it in this way. It was really odd because they weren't having the proper the eye line, for example, wasn't on the camera, so that it didn't really seem like an actual fourth wall thing.
Yeah.
Can I just say this?
Andy.
Oh. Can I just say real quick, this room full of comic books, totally comic books accurate. That's in the comic books. There's a room full of comic books that she goes in and reads and stuff. Cool. Everybody reads from there.
It always amazes me when they put such nice details into things like this, which shows you that someone somewhere is paying attention.
Continuity
person in the back of a cigarette packet.
Right. Yeah, it's probably one dude in the corner being like, "Hey, we should do this." By the way, and they're like, "Okay, thanks, Andy. Thank you so much."
That's very much Uncanny Valley territory. Looking at that face, isn't it? It's
right.
It is actually. She's not happy.
Yeah, because she got it because she's a diversity hire.
Well, at least she's not cleaning the toilets out, so she must be.
But there was a black guy delivering mail.
No, I'm saying like she's all so like She-Hulk was only hired because she's a She-Hulk. I deserve that job. She's a diversity hire.
Look at
and there's the monkey. A person of color.
And there's the monkeys in the room. Yeah.
Brown, stop it. You need to go and get laid, Brown, for fuck's sake. This is alarming.
You do. Oh, quick hand shandy. That always works, mate.
It's very specialist, though, isn't it? Green hand shandy.
Specialist.
Let's save up and get you a green fleshlight, Brown. How's that for a compromise?
Don't knock it till you try it. Okay. So...
I wonder if the office is a set. It does look quite real. I wonder if it's all green screen with the stuff behind it and everything. So
I think
the windows. I mean,
the building looked green screen, didn't it? I think the office looked real, but the building itself looked green screen. I thought. Yeah,
I was just wondering whether the windows, when they're walking past windows, that they green screened all that stuff in the windows. I've no doubt that the set is there. I'm just wondering if it was in studio, it was a studio set.
So a little bit more fourth wall there.
She actually looks much better as the She-Hulk than she does when she's what's her name? Walters? Julie Walters? No, not Julie Walters.
Jennifer. Yeah, because her hair's all down and it looks nice and everything. And
No, this is where we meet Mrs. Shoulder Pads.
Yeah, and she's all surprised to see this chick, and she's all like, but I was like, didn't you like say I get to pick my paralegal, and you're surprised she's
No, she wasn't surprised that she saw her there. She was surprised at the office.
Oh, was she? Because
I think so.
Because then she comes in and she's all like, you get this big office, this fully stocked fridge, a desk, and I'm like, oh, look at you.
Is it me, or sometimes does she look like Michael Jackson?
No, she does.
A bit of a turn off. Just the odd camera angle. It's like, ooh, no.
A lot of girls fancied Michael Jackson. We've got to remember that one. There you go.
7.
Why is she wearing yellow? What the hell?
Good
She's like
question.
she just stepped out of an 80s sitcom, doesn't she?
Yeah, the
Dynasty
shoulder
or
pads are very
Dallas?
80s in the 80s too.
Very strange.
Why have you got a picture of that, mate? Seriously.
No, that was great. She like
yeah, Michael Jackson there. Can you see it?
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's not pleasant, is it?
Yeah, for sure.
Flash desk, really good desk. In the chats, she's bad. She is. What
you know
was this about?
Well, this guy. Okay, so I just want to say real quick. This guy is in the comic books, and
I never say it quick. You always say that. I want to say it real quick, but you never do.
Well, he says it quicker than Lord.
Give me 60 seconds. This
Hold
guy
my fucking beer.
This guy's in the comic books, okay? His nickname is Pug, okay? In the comic books, he's a little bit chubbier, and he's and he gets put in the friend zone like so hard. And they've given it to this really good-looking guy right here. And I'm all like, yeah, there's no way you'd put him in the friend zone. Like, you'd jump that real quick. I'm like, you should have picked a little bit of a chubbier dude. I'm like, it took me forever to figure out that it was Pug. I didn't like it. And his whole map thing, I appreciated.
So Pug is a fat guy that fancies She-Hulk.
Yeah. But he gets friend zoned real quick.
Right, okay.
But he's like nice and stuff. You know when guys get friend zoned, they're that guy.
Yeah. I've been friend zoned loads of times. So there you go.
That's when you
I'm
cut
a bit
him
of
off.
a pug.
Yeah. I'm from Yorkshire. What does friend zone mean?
I think it's your natural state of being.
Oh, okay.
In Yorkshire, obviously.
I just want to say this map to the best bathroom to poop. I personally would appreciate that. I am like a shy pooper in public. Like,
but she hasn't got her own toilet. What's going on there?
Yeah, like I'm like, if you come into the room, I'm like mortified. I'm like, no.
Would the porcelain be reinforced?
That's a good question.
She-Hulk poo, yeah.
Also, would it be radioactive given that her entire internal system is gamma radiation?
It's not. Yeah, probably.
Asking the difficult questions that need to be asked.
Yeah.
She could just turn back into Jennifer, though.
Yeah, she could
be good.
Because she's better than the Hulk. She can control her changes.
I never thought of that. Maybe I should be writing for the program.
To be honest, anyone at this point would be a welcome addition to the writing team.
Here you go, Franco. Titanium.
Yeah, it's made of Captain America's shield.
Titanium toilet.
Yeah.
It's vibranium. I said adamantium. It's vibranium, isn't it?
Yes. Vibranium, yeah.
Okay, so LA.
There he is.
Signing
a check for Ed 209.
Yeah.
Should do RoboCop at some point.
Yeah.
I think I've got RoboCop somewhere stored, waiting to go at some point.
Really?
Yeah, it's been on my computer for probably 18 months now, but anyway. Yeah, RoboCop, what a film. Okay, so what's going on here? This is where they're talking about the Abomination.
She's been assigned
parole.
Yeah. And she's saying, I don't think I want to do it. And he's going, well, you're fired then. And he goes, I think I'll do it. Or something. I can't remember. That would have been funny if she deleted it. But anyway.
This is one of those scenes that really would have benefited from more time. Because the whole setup is you're going to have to defend Abomination. And, of course, the history of Abomination and Hulk means that she's defending the person who tried to murder her cousin. But they do it so quickly, including in this and the 2 subsequent scenes. It's almost over in an instant. And I like the idea because what they're trying to do is balance the personal and also the professional. So she has to defend the person who tried to murder her cousin. That's the personal aspect. But she might lose her job if she doesn't, which is the professional aspect. But they do it away with it so quickly that there's really you just sort of ignore it. You move over, and she has to go away without the sort of character implications you would really expect from any kind of dramatic show.
They use a tracking shot in this scene for no apparent reason towards that guy, and then to her for a reason. But you can always tell when a director doesn't know what they're doing is when you get tracking shots for no reason. So I'm just
you've
guessing.
Done plenty of them, then, Ian.
I've done a few. I've done a few. But yeah. Sorry,
in the chat, vibrating toilets with She-Hulk squatting over it sounds like a right nightmare. It does.
She'd probably decimate the building if she let one go, innit? Basically, she's the She-Hulk.
Melvin says RoboCop 35th. It is. Okay, so talking more about the Abomination, she doesn't want to represent because of what you've said, cousin
Indian there.
Blah, 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 blah.
Why is that office so big? In fact, right, that I think that's the same office as her office, and they've just redecorated it. It looks like the same office. It's weird. Could be the same office.
Could be. So this is where he's been out the parole documents.
She should be happy, really, that she's representing something that nobody else is representing. Do you know what I mean? And also, she's the first of that kind of a lawyer. She should be happy, but no, she's not, apparently.
Has she accepted the case at this point?
She goes to see him, and then she has to decide whether she's going to defend him.
Because there's that phone call with Bruce that she has.
Yes,
she has to explain herself,
which is pathetic if you ask me. But there you go.
Okay, so
you can't come in as She-Hulk. You've got to come in as an ordinary human being.
Okay, we'll blast through these then. So that's the prison where the Abomination is in. Total Recall bus or taxi.
Why would you design a prison in that way? Why is it designed as like this? I don't know exactly what the style is. It's not Art Deco. It's not brutalism either. It's this weird mix of them. I'm sure there is a definitive answer for that, but why would you do that?
Because they can, and it's cheap for CGI.
Because they can.
Well, maybe they just found a building that like that and thought that would make a good prison and just create a lot of CGI around it.
The most modern architecture would make for a very good prison. So
yeah, and in the comic books, the prisoners are shrunken down like the Atom, or like Ant-Man.
Triangulism, apparently.
Yeah. Some new horror I'm going to have to go and research.
Ooh.
You're not coming in yet. Your name's not down. You're not coming in. As a superhero. So she's being led inside by the prison warder.
This is the Silence of the Lambs reference, which I liked until they made it overt. So when they're going down the corridor, he says, don't touch the glass, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. And you already know what they're going for with that. That is an overt Silence of the Lambs reference. But then they aren't really confident enough that the audience will understand the reference. So then they actually have to give her the line, "Are you going to serve me up with fava beans and a nice Chianti?" And I think, well, I was happy enough with that before you did it. But now that just makes me want to go and rewatch Silence of the Lambs, which is infinitely better than this.
It is Tetris Prison. Okay, so this is where he's talking about waivers and danger and enter at your own risk and blah, 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 blah. Do you understand?
Yeah, I thought he was very professional, unlike her. She was all silly-willy and everything, and he was like, hey, he could crush you. I mean, if you weren't a She-Hulk.
God, he looks old.
There's no way a 20-foot a woman can fit into that costume. She changed into She-Hulk. All that clothes are falling off her.
Yeah.
No way. I never understood why they would put a villain in something like that. Why would they? Can they not? Why is it so comfortable? Why does it look stylish? It just, I don't know. It's just stupid.
I wouldn't like to go for a shit knowing the security guards watching me sat on the fucking pot.
I'm pretty sure that if you press the switch, it'll make all the glass go frosted, and then you can go for a pool.
What happens when you want to crack one off?
Then you have to press the thing, and the glass will go frosted, and you can crack one off.
Unless if you're kinky and leave it open.
The reference has been done so many times in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And I like the reference the first few times I've seen it, but everyone does this now. Yes, we know Silence of the Lambs is amazing. You don't have to do it with every single scene of this type. It just becomes, it's almost distracting as opposed to funny or affecting as it's supposed to be.
I thought the design, do you remember the design when, I think it was Winter Soldier, when he went to see the Winter Soldier, the Captain America, and he was in some kind of, that was quite nice.
Like the iron box thing?
Yeah. It was quite nice. That was, yeah.
In the chat, Ian's still thinking about her clothes falling off.
And why not? That's all I can say.
I liked Tim Roth, but there was nothing really special about that scene. Yeah. Compare it to the Black Widow Loki scene in Avengers.
Yeah, definitely.
She stepped over the yellow line and all whatever.
With her big boots.
Yeah.
Does she have spandex shoes as well? No, she takes her shoes off.
Takes her off, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't like this whole, she fell for his whole little spiel about how, I've changed because I met 7 besties in here, and they all bought me a plot of land to live on.
Pals,
yeah. And then he's all like, I'm a victim because I was shot with the super soldier serum, and I was supposed to be a hero and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, but you're the one that shot yourself with the Hulk blood, with the leader helping you out. It wasn't the government that did that.
But he died. He died in the film. He got thrown against a tree. The Hulk smacked him so hard, he smashed against the tree, and he died.
He just broke every bone in his body.
Oh, of course, yes.
That's easy. You can fix that now. That's all fine. I didn't like it just because of how easily she accepts all of this.
Yeah.
Because the previous setup in the last scene was that, well, she's really umming and ahhing about taking the case because of the personal history, the personal connection. But in this scene, he says, I was an innocent victim of the government, and I've written haikus to my victims now, so I'm a reformed person. And she just basically says, okay then.
Yeah.
Well, you just sacrificed the payoff you were going for with this. The idea is not itself bad. It's just the delivery is awful.
The thing is, though, you would understand it as Matt says, if she was portrayed like in the comics, getting drunk all the time, didn't take her job seriously.
Yeah.
Then you would understand why this scene would work, where she just literally, she. In other words, Matt, was she wasn't very good on the other side. She was kind of a good lawyer when she was actually pushed, right? But then she was kind of like a.
Yeah, it was like when she was in the courtroom and she had to do her job, she was good at it. But when she was not, she was like a party girl.
Yeah, there you go. So if they concentrate on the party girl aspect, you'll understand why she's like this. You'll understand why she's so, whatever. Yeah. But they didn't, did they?
Yeah, if they wanted to follow the comic books, that scene where she got fired, she should have thrown up on her boss, because that happens in the comic book. She throws up on him. I believe it's even green vomit. It's pretty funny. See, that's the thing. There's so many funny things in the comic books. I'm like, why didn't you just transfer that? It would be funny on screen. I don't understand.
If they could have created some tensions between herself, some genuine tension between herself and Bruce Banner, then maybe the idea of her taking this case could have worked.
Yeah, that's true.
How did everybody feel about seeing Roth again?
Yeah, it broke my heart because I never think of people aging, and when I saw him and he looked like when he stood up, and I thought, oh God, this guy's he's obviously a man of age now. It just kind of broke my heart slightly. He's a good actor, though. You give him that.
Yeah, I'm the same with Ian. It was kind of sad to see, but I mean, it comes to us all if we're lucky enough to live to.
Yeah.
Top tip, everybody: do gardening, keeps you fit.
Right on.
Right. Okay.
Moving on. Okay. Was it good? Do you think it was good seeing back for
We all know where he did it.
Well, yeah.
Did it for the money.
How many zeros would you like, Mr. Roth?
The question is, are we going to see him again, or are we just going to see the Abomination, CGI, running around?
Yeah.
I think we'll see him again because I can't remember. I thought we saw some scenes in one of the trailers of him not like this. Because doesn't he turn into the Abomination in the trailer?
Well, not in. Yeah, I don't know if they capture him in the next episode. Yeah, but who knows?
Here you go, some lawyer talk, folks, from Romeo. As a soldier who was on active duty at the time of his crimes, military law would apply to him. Where the fuck is Tom Cruise? She can't handle the truth. Very good. Okay, so sunrise or sunset?
Who knows? Who cares?
Hard Life Mansion. Just looking through the old papas, as it were.
She calls Bruce. Hey, Bruce, how come your name was David in a TV show?
Very good. This 5G is very good, isn't it? It can get spaceships.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Yeah. Maybe
every time I see the Hulk, though, the more plastic he looks, the more unrealistic he looks.
Yep.
He really doesn't. He doesn't look real there at all.
I've got that in the review I'm doing for this episode. Just put them side by side. His last scene in Endgame, for example, where he's talking about losing Natasha Romanoff, just put that side by side with this, and just the difference in texture, in facial expression, and the malleability of same. It's so
polygons,
cheap compared to that.
Yeah. And I don't know if we're going to talk about. I can't believe that he fell for Abomination's soppy story too. He was there. He saw that creature tear into New York, and he knows that it was his blood that turned him into Abomination, and it was him that made the leader guy before he became the leader. He made him stick him with Bruce's blood. Well, so I'm all like, how is he falling for his haiku bullshit? Like,
because they changed him. They changed the Hulk. He's not the Hulk anymore.
He's Pussy Hulk.
Yes, I'm saying.
He's got to have a memory. I mean, come on.
No, but that's the thing. Marvel and Feige and this stupid agenda has changed the Hulk for the worse. Because, as I said in the last stream, if you watch the Ed Norton one, I love the Ed Norton, even though a lot of people hate it. I love the idea that he was being chased, he was being hunted, he was scared, he was, he had this horrible curse about him. All that serious stuff about the Hulk is all thrown away through Endgame did it. Endgame ended the Incredible Hulk.
It was a completely different Hulk back then.
They actually say that in this exact scene that you've got on screen now. They actually he has that line where he says, "I'm a different person now," literally.
No shit.
Yeah.
According to Time Prophet, Cook Hulk.
And I thought it would be way more interesting if he was all like, "Don't take the case," and she was like, "I'm gonna take the case."
Exactly.
And then he has to leave the planet, so he can't do anything about it, and he can't be a witness to the prosecution because he's not there. And I thought it would have been way more interesting. If he would have just said, "Don't do it," he's not a good person. But no, he's just like, "Yeah, take it. He's a good guy."
He didn't even say be careful or anything like that because he's the Abomination. This guy's he's not. I have a nice. I
have a question for you guys when we get to the spaceship part, but I'll just ask it now. Do you think we're going to have a payoff of where he went? Or do you think they're just gonna be like, no, that's the end of the Hulk in this one. We're done.
No, in the movie, you will.
Oh man! Oh, okay, great.
Melvin Deeply, Tim Roth is only 61.
Bloody hell, looks older than that. Wow.
Yeah, he does. The movie thing is the important point. There will be a setup for one of the future Marvel films, which is incredibly important to the overarching story. And they will say, well, if you don't know why the Hulk's in space now, you should have watched She-Hulk because that's so important to the overall story. It isn't, but apart from that moment, and that's this massive problem they're really going to have trying to integrate the Disney Plus shows with the mainline MCU because they're trying to use it to drive subscribers to Disney. But most people won't go, so where are we expected to follow them? It's a really cheap way of doing this, actually, and quite an unpleasant one.
Movie Cynic, hello, mates. Bridget Moore, don't forget Wine Mom writers. That's why it doesn't make sense. Cheers.
It's a shame, really, because this show could have been really fun.
Well, as we said last week, I was wanting this to be fun, but
shot of feet, Quentin Tarantino.
This could have been the perfect antidote to all this shite we've had, and they've just brought in something that's even worse.
It is. It's just rubbish.
Here you go. New face, side of feet. Apple season as well. The way they've changed the Abomination is awful. He was a battle-hardened soldier that was addicted to new violent challenges, and now he does. I can't pronounce that. Haikus. I must be a play.
Must be a ploy.
Ploy. Sorry, I can't read. But thank you for the comments.
But he does. He does in the movie. He does say that he's getting older, and you remember that bit in the Incredible Hulk when he was talking to General Ross, and he was saying, I deserve this. I'm getting older. I can't move as fast as I can. And then General Ross offers him the serum, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. So he was a man of age. Mm. He's a more man of age this time, I guess.
The idea is not necessarily a bad one. It is the delivery that's setting it down. You can work your way. I think they are trying to set it up as a ploy, but the problem is the fact she accepts his stories so willingly. And even the Hulk accepts him. And she calls Bruce in this scene and says, I'm thinking about taking this client on. And he says, no, it's cool. He wrote me a really nice haiku. And it's another one of those moments that make you think, oh, I'm supposed to laugh at that because we've just seen the setup.
I never heard of that word until today.
It's a Japanese style of poem. Is it 4 syllables, 7 syllables, 4 syllables, I think it is? It doesn't actually make any sense in sort of Western poetic tradition, but it's apparently some people enjoy
haiku. It. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if Roth was trying to play his part kind of comedically to fit in with what he thought was supposed to be a comedy, or he's just obviously playing that as it was said a ploy. Not quite sure. Anyway, we'll find out shortly.
Still doing the phone call about whether she should take the case, and he says you're taking the case, something anyway. 5G reception, fantastic. I think I need to upgrade.
It's Avengers strengthened because there are and also he's a genius. When he must have strengthened it as well somehow. So
in the chat, Time Profits, I have written well over 500 poems. Love poems, Time Profits. It's your good lady.
I'd say roughly 498 of those will be better than the best haiku ever written, because the haiku is just not a very pleasing form.
Wow.
Is the Hulk's hand bigger than his head? His hand? Oh, it is. Like, it's much bigger than his head. Wow.
I'm okay with his head being smaller than his body. That's somewhat comic books accurate.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is where we pan out.
It's the same ship that the car almost crashed into, isn't it? Same spaceship.
Yeah. He's going to go see his illegitimate bastard Hulk.
No,
son.
he's going to see what's his name? Nick Fury, because the last time we saw Nick Fury, he was in space. Remember?
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he was above Earth, right above Earth.
Yeah.
That's Sword.
Yeah, but he was flying somewhere, wasn't he? He was going to go somewhere, wasn't he?
I don't think so. Sword stays at Earth.
Oh, I forgot.
Sword.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
Yeah,
Sword.
they're like S.H.I.E.L.D., but they stop
Pork sword.
Other planetary things from attacking Earth. I don't know if they're going to do the Son of Hulk like in the comic books. I really think they're going to do Hulkling, because I know like Hulkling is not.
Of Hulk.
Hulkling is not. No, they're going to do Hulkling for sure, if anything, because he's gay and he ends up with Wiccan.
God.
And they've already introduced Wiccan, so they're gonna do Hulkling. There's no way they're not gonna do Hulkling. There's no way. So I think instead of doing the Son of Hulk, they're gonna say Hulk. Well, he was on Sakaar, was just banging bitches left and right, and one of them just happened to be a Skrull. So that Hulkling can shapeshift and stuff like in the comic books.
What a load of shit. Seriously.
Shapeshifting sounds like a lady pleaser.
Right. Yeah, not in the comic books. He's a male pleaser with Wiccan, Scarlet Witch's son.
Moving on.
Yeah.
So she's accepted the case. Hurrah!
I love how he was all like, oh, I've been waiting for this call. I'm like, yeah, you knew she was going to take it. Look, did you see how desperate she was in that bar? She took that offer like right away.
Of course she knew. Of course he knew. Sorry. They him knew. He's got a different tie on. See that? He had a blue tie. Now he's got a red tie. Excellent. He changed his costume.
Right.
God, this show sucks.
And really you're right. Does. Like this outfit right here isn't even flattering either. Like, and I don't get it. I know I don't know plenty. I know like 4 or 5 lawyers in my life, and the 2 women that I know, they dress feminine. They don't always dress in suits and stuff. I don't get it.
It's because they don't want us to fancy her.
Which I don't understand why they wouldn't want us to. I mean, again, men are the ones that watch Marvel stuff more than women. And anybody that wants to argue with me, I'll fight you on it. Not physically because I'm, small, but I'm sorry. Men watch this stuff. So why wouldn't you want to try to please the male gaze every now and then? I
prefer the green one, but anyway, okay.
Well, she's worn some sexy outfits in the comic books too. I don't get why they don't try to sexify her up a little bit.
We know
Lord,
why.
This one's for you, Lord.
There was a young lady from York who set out to look for some pork. She got in a bind, and all she could find was an old man offering cork. That is an example of a limerick. And since you've broached the subject,
oh, here we go.
Shit.
This is where I reveal I spent all of my undergraduate days writing limericks. The famous thing with limericks is that a limerick packs laughs anatomical in a space that is quite economical, but the best ones I've seen so seldom are clean, and the clean ones so seldom are comical, which led to my own, which is I've been traveling all around China and sampled a fair few vaginas, but how does it go?
He's lost it.
No, I've got it. Sampling all around China and sampled a fair few vaginas, but nothing compares to the balls lacking hair and the arse of a poor Chinese miner. There are a few others like along those lines. Said of the Bishop of Birmingham that he fucks little boys while confirming them. He knelt on his cassock and pumped his episcopal sperm in him. It carries on. The limerick is a fantastic art form, and it's one of the best, most malleable forms of poetry.
I don't know any limericks, so...
I mean, I can recite you William Blake as well if it redeems the stream, but I think that would be a bit too boring.
No, we're good.
You can save that for your channel, mate. Okay, so then the boss says, are you watching the TV? Because obviously it happens at the same time, conveniently. And then the Abomination is doing Fight Club.
Yeah, how did he get out? We don't know.
Is this from a film?
We do know. He got it's from Shang-Chi. He got out by Wong. That. Wong used his sling ring to get him out.
I never saw Shang-Chi because it's rubbish. So
it wasn't that great. But he uses his little portal ring to get him out. I'm assuming to get him out of prison so they can go fight and stuff. So they can go fight. In Shang-Chi, they made it look like Wong and him were like friends, like because he's talking to Abomination like a person, like, "Hey, come on, buddy, let's go," and everything. And
but why?
I mean, I don't know. What do you want from me? I don't have all the answers.
It doesn't make any sense because Abomination is a horrible person.
Yeah,
so why is Wong friends with him?
But because he writes haikus.
Time Profits in the chat at Mr. Brown Alliance asked me, I'd love some William Blake. He's one of my favourite poets. Go on, let's hear some Blake.
No, really? Blake? What about Dr. Zeus? Dr. Zeus is so much better.
I can if you want me to, but I don't want to derail the stream.
No, it's derailed anyway. As soon as we started, it was derailed.
Doesn't want to show us up by his huge intellect.
Didn't Blake get canceled like 2 days ago? That was a horrible joke. Horrible joke. Sorry.
Tell you what, Lord, we will finish on a poem from your good self.
Okay, I'll try and remember it.
Make sure we do it. Yeah.
There was an old woman from Fife who hadn't been kissed in her life.
Ching
Saw a
chong
cat said, "I'll kiss that." The cat said, "Not in your life."
The Bishop of Central Japan used to Roger himself with a fan, and when taxed with his accent applies, it contracts and expands rather more than a man.
Here's one for Brown. There once was a gardener from Leeds who ate a packet of seeds. In less than an hour, his head was a flower, his crotch was a garden of weeds.
I don't know any of this stuff.
Lucky you.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
Oh, God, no.
Now get in my car, bitch.
It's the Ted Bundy version.
I would just say to the chat, remind us to let Lord Cord do his poetry at the end.
No. Why? Why would you do that?
Because it might be good. Okay, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. She breaks the fourth wall again. I forgot.
I must admit, right, when she did that, I did almost smiled. No, we didn't.
Yeah, I didn't smile.
I quite
either.
like the delivery where she said it, whatever she said. I can't remember what she said, but
I
thought,
knew she was going to say that. Well, that sucks. I knew she was going to
do deliveries from Amazon. Christ's sakes. Do you know what I mean? Seriously.
Yeah, I thought the delivery was the most obvious thing she could possibly have said, and so it wasn't funny for that reason. It was like, well, of course she's going to say, well that sucks. Yeah, it's like, no.
It's just a stupid ending, and then that stupid ending where she's holding the car and carrying those waters for her dad and all. What was that all about? That wasn't even funny. Why was that there?
In the chat, could get a sausage in her mouth there. Oh, yes.
Very problematic stream this is
becoming. I must say, I've got nothing to do with this stream. I was invited, but I'm not part of this group at all.
I will just say this is the Lost Platoon Lord Cord channel, not the other one.
I'm sorry. The giveaway is
that sucks. Fourth wall. I quite liked it.
I hated it. I hate this whole episode. This whole show should be burnt.
Yeah,
everything about it should be burnt.
Yeah, it was just a waste of time. Like. I don't know. Like why didn't they double up on some of these episodes, and then just have like a 5-episode season instead of 9?
I think the audience would have died halfway through each episode.
It's true.
Lord,
am I reading this?
I think so. It's directed at me. Oh no, I'll do it. Mr. Brown Alliance. That's me. Oh, Mr. Brown, you are all about town. Your channel turns our frowns upside down, and the rest of the world, this poem has gone to shite. Oh, much like this stream. Okay.
That was funny.
In your world, yes. Okay. That's the end of that. Wasn't that amazing?
Have we got to the post-credit scene yet, or is it not worth including?
I just said it.
I'm working up to that.
Sorry.
I'm working up to that. So we'll just do brief thoughts of this episode. I'm kind of thinking it's not going to be good. I'll get you guys back on the... So from my immediate right, Brian, your thoughts on this wonderful episode?
Well, a short, very forgettable episode aside from Tim Roth's appearance. Only 22 minutes and poorly paced, yet somehow still managed to drag on. Positives, it wasn't too heavy-handed on the man-hate, which must have come as a crushing disappointment to the show's crazy cat lady target demographic, and I liked seeing Mark Lynn-Baker again. As for the next episode, couldn't give a monkey's, Brune.
Lord?
of all the pointless things to have ever existed, the most pointless of them is probably this episode.
That good. Matty?
Like I said before, the big waste of time. I hear the next episode is gonna double down on the man hating. I heard I've heard from some some critics that have already seen it. They really double down on the man hating. So I'm not looking forward to it. But it was just a waste of time. I don't understand. They could have made this show so much better if they just
show.
Yeah, and as a comic book reader, I just go, I want to see the characters that I actually do like, and you guys are just ruining them by doing your own thing. So maybe you should just stop doing your own thing because your thing sucks. I'm just saying. And you're wasting talent. Tatiana Maslany is fantastic. And they're wasting her by giving her bad lines, and it just sucks. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, and Ian, more than one word.
Absolute
Please.
Rubbish.
That's 2 words. It qualifies.
Okay. Right, and just when you think it can't get any worse, it's like, what the fuck was all this about? Anybody know?
Nobody. It's just ridiculous. It's just stupid. It's like, well, if she hangs up a TV, she holds a car up with one hand and she carries those bottles of water. That's it. What was the point?
I thought
annoying because they were told to cut down on the number of She-Hulk scenes in the episode for budgetary reasons. It's annoying to realize that they spent some of that money and some of these scenes on this. What was the point?
Matt, do you know? I think they were trying to be funny, like, hey, look at this kooky little scene we got here, and I go, it's just more waste of time. This was not funny, and we didn't need to see this. So I don't understand. I really don't. I don't get it. And I love how the one guy's all like, I could have done that. And I'm all like, yeah, why didn't you? I've put a TV on my wall before. I'm like, you guys act like it's freaking hard. It's not that hard.
Yeah, plus they're very light these days, aren't they?
Yeah, so, I put my TV up. It's not like, men can't do this shit. You don't need a She-Hulk to do it.
In the chat, Franco, the chat and the panel was more interesting and intelligent than this episode.
That is true.
Cheers, Franco.
Very true. I don't know the effects, especially in this bit.
This was a bit poor, yeah.
It didn't work for some reason. I don't know. And maybe Matt's got a point that it's in darkness again. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's them trying to hide effects. I don't know.
Yeah, I think anytime you have CGI in the dark, it's like they're like, we can save money because it can look like crap because we can just shadow everything in. And I'm all like, nobody wants to see that crap. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that at all. Stop it.
Especially in 2022. I think that's it. Please consider donating to the channel. Links in the description. Subscribe, press buttons, all that.
He's sparing me of the attempt to remember William Blake.
We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so that was our wonderful review of Shite.
She-Hulk, yeah.
I don't think we'll be covering it next week.
Thank God.
I said that, and here I am reviewing
exactly
the episode again.
So well, this is your warm up for the heavy lifting review, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be covering it next week. I'll be watching it, but not covering.
So I'll see you next week then, huh?
So I will say a big thank you to our wonderful chats. It's always the same faces, a few new faces, and as Franco said, we're more intelligent and funny than this shite. So I thank you, boys and girls. I'll thank the guests in order of my screen from the bottom. The guy who took one for the team again, the Mega Geek, Ian David Diaz. Thank you.
No worries, guys. No worries.
I promise you will not have to endure this again.
Thank God.
We'll hold you to that.
Yeah, exactly.
The wonderful Matt Cat 83.
Oh, thanks for having me. I always have a good time. You said this last week, but if you do it again next week, I'll be here.
Mate, any availability, anytime you want to come on, feel free, mate. You got an open ticket.
You.
The wonderful Lord Chord.
Thank you. Infinitely more enjoyable than the episode was.
Oh yes, and not Brian Banner.
Cheers, Brune. Thanks to Ian, Matt, Lost Chord, and the wonderful little Abominations in the chat. It's amazing how we managed to get a 2-hour stream out of a 22-minute episode. But there we are.
That guarantees we are absolutely misogynist, sexist.
We said in the green room, didn't we? 1 hour tops. There is no such thing as a short stream, boys and girls. Just remember that. Okay, tomorrow we are back, and I think Melvin Deeply will be very pleased with this because this is confirmed.
Oh, nice.
Paul Chato's coming on. She-Hulk.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to watch those videos before he comes
Former network executive folks.
Yeah, his videos are very good. He said he liked the sitcom aspect of it. Which I thought he made an excellent point. I still didn't like it, but he made an excellent point.
I thought this could have made a very good first episode.
No, none of it can make a first good episode. It's just rubbish. The whole thing's just rubbish. Let's face it. I mean, we're being kind by saying that stuff, but seriously, it's just nonsense. The whole thing's just crap.
I love this picture.
Okay, so tomorrow, Melvin, you'll be like a dog with two dicks tomorrow, mate. End of week musings tomorrow with Paul Chato. It's going to be great. It's also our 250th video stroke stream. So anyway, I think that is it. Other than a final words from Lost Chord.
Oh fuck! You actually want me to do it? Oh, okay. Right. Well, Time Prophet did Tiger in the chat, which is a really sublime example of
can you find it?
Trochaic tetrameter. I'm going to try and do this from memory, so I apologize. I might get this wrong, but I believe it goes.
We'll forgive you.
The morning comes, the night decays, the watchmen leave their stations. The grave is burst, the spices shed, the linen wrapped up. The bones of death, the covering clay, the sinews shrunk and dried, reviving, shake, inspiring, move, breathing, awakening, spring-like redeemed captives when their bonds and bars are burst. Let the slave grinding at the mill run out into the field. Let him look up into the heavens and laugh in the bright air. Let the in-chain soul, I think, dying... Sorry, no, let the in-chain soul shut up in darkness and in sighing, whose face has never seen a smile in 30 weary years, rise and look out. His chains are loose, his dungeon doors are open, and let his wife and children return from the oppressor's scourge. So they look behind at every step and believe it is a dream. Singing, the sun has left his blackness and has found a fresher morning. The fair moon rejoices in the clear and cloudless night, for empire is no more, and now the lion and wolf shall cease. And that, I think, is right, but could well be wrong. But Time Prophet will let me know.
Just goes to show, don't it, that I went to a crappy school and you went to a really good one.
Oh no,
so
my school was awful. I had to learn all that on my own accord at university. My school was shit.
I didn't even get to university, couldn't afford it, mate. So there you go. There you go.
I genuinely think Bishop Moore will sleep well this evening. So that is it, folks. Don't forget, we are back tomorrow, 10:30 p.m. GMT +1, the usual time for the musing stuff. As we said, Paul Chato. It's going to be great. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Sundays. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.